This is Rebecca Evans for WHRO FM. Friday night, Virginia Stage Company will open a life-changing adaptation of Shakespeare's The Tempest. The play is part of the company's Public Works initiative and features more than 100 members of the community. I spoke with the Public Works team, Patrick Mullins and Philip Odengo, about the history of Public Works and how it's transforming our region.
Well, Public Works is actually originally started by the Public Theater in New York. I'd been watching that program for a while. So as we've grown and continued to do community-oriented events, this has been kind of in the background. And then as they announced that they were looking for new partners in their Public Works cohort and expanded to Dallas and Seattle and the National Theater in London, then we were quickly about the fourth or fifth to jump into that list.
So I've been reading a lot about this program and the way you're describing it, theater as a place of possibility, and you're saying, you're trying to make this a life-changing experience for the participants. So obviously this is so much more than just a show. Speaking long-term, what are you hoping this will do for the Hampton Roads arts community?
Well, first of all, we're really blessed to have a thriving community here already, not just with the symphony and the opera, but a very vibrant little theater scene and community theater scene and the generic, and so many great companies out there doing great work. I've been in several high schools in the last few weeks and talking to teachers where the programs are thriving. So it's really great to be able to have opportunities to partner with all of those organizations that are already doing great stuff. And then to maybe expand the envelope a little bit to folks who maybe don't have the ability, maybe their work schedule doesn't let them participate in community theater, or maybe, for instance, we have a program in partnership with Armed Services Arts Partnership for acting classes for veterans. Some people are really busy for 20 years and then they retire and say, hey, I've got some time. I'd like to invest and relearn about some things. And so there are some great entry points for all sorts of folks. One of the exciting things to me about The Tempest that we're about to do is we have 2 actors in major roles who are deaf American Sign Language speakers. I'm not sure that a production's been done in Hampton Roads that has featured some of our friends from that community, and they're great actors. There just isn't always an access point. So we're super excited to have them on, and they're both really fun and hysterical people, so that makes it extra fun.
Philip Odengo emphasized the importance of community partnerships in public works.
And what's wonderful about this Hampton Roads community is that we have a network of amazing professional artists who are willing to go into our diverse communities and to create those relationships with our community partners and partner organizations. And we're really thrilled to be able to partner with Norfolk State University Theater Company, the Philippine Cultural Center's School of Creative and Performing Arts, and we also have relationships with Teens with a Purpose. And organizations like Access Virginia allow us to offer accessibility services like open captioning and audio description, in addition to our American Sign Language interpretation at our shows. So when we're looking at creating a radically inclusive production, what it really means is that we're looking at the health of the whole community and being able to provide a platform for everyone to shine. So it's really been an effort, an initiative to really build a wider, longer table rather than a taller one, especially in a community as diverse as Hampton Roads.
So why The Tempest?
It's one of my favorite Shakespeare's, and one I've worked on a few times. There's a little bit about making this sort of community production that part of the art of it is showcasing our friends from different communities, from different cultures, and putting us all on stage together. And The Tempest is such a beautiful canvas for that because it's on a magic island, and the possibilities of how that story is told is almost endless. As opposed to a contemporary play where everybody comes to dinner and sits around a dining table, it's a little harder to, be big and
like
expansive.
Your own interpretation almost.
Right. And also, all of the public works programs nationwide tend to borrow from the pageantry style of theater that was happening at the beginning of the 20th, late 19th century. I've had quite a bit of background in that and working with my friends from Paper Hand Puppet Intervention down in North Carolina. And so we're using some of their puppetry and spectacle in the show. And it also has a whimsical feel that really works with this particular story. part of what has been great about Public Works to me is I'm really, really lucky and really blessed. I get to spend a fair amount of time in rooms with other artists talking about work. But it's those conversations that are transformational. It's talking to people who come from a different viewpoint than I do. And so what Public Works does is it takes those little transformational conversations and moments and makes it accessible in a much broader scale. The things that I've learned about my craft from people who maybe don't have a lot of formal training, but so much more instinct and skill than I ever knew how to have in a room is fantastic. And I think that really shows in some of our classes and watching how they've worked, and also with our local professional artists and how those folks are working off of each other. And so to watch how they're just kind of blossoming, and it's not that we're lucky to have them. It's just they've never had a pot of soil to grow in before. And so we just happen to be the dirt that's handy, but we're lucky dirt. That's the weirdest metaphor ever. But I think you get what I mean.
Yeah.
As we're growing a community there, it is about us kind of getting muddy together.
Yeah.
And that's the transformational part.
The Tempest, adapted and directed by Patrick with original music by Jake Hull, plays Friday through Sunday at the Wells Theater in downtown Norfolk. Details at vastage.org. This is Rebecca Evans here for WHRO FM.